right. So our topic today, the person says, I'm graduating in May, so I'm scared for the NCLEX. Am I going to remember everything? Well, that's great that they're graduating in May.
Congrats.
Yeah, congrats. That's coming up right around the corner. And they say, am I going to remember everything? Uh, no. That's a simple way to put it. I mean, it's impossible really, to be honest, to remember everything. But as far as preparing for the NCLEX, there are a lot of great ways to prepare so that way, even if you don't know everything, you can break it down and figure out the answer.
Exactly. Yeah. And I mean, the NCLEX really is very top level. I mean, so you're not expected to be an expert OB nurse when you go take the NCLEX, right?
Hmm.
I mean, you're expected to be a safe OB nurse when you go take it.
Yes.
And then even like you said, like it even gets more, I mean, I'm not saying the NCLEX is simple. I'm not saying that at all, but it gets even more simple than that in the sense of, do you know how to break it down? I mean, we're going to give you a situation. Are you going to do the safe thing?
Hmm.
So yeah, do not ever, because I think I got into this too. Like I way over prepared for the NCLEX, like insanely too much probably. But at the same, like I passed, so can you over prepare? So I don't know, you know.
Yeah. Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people. I mean, you can't know everything, and you're not gonna know everything. I guess.
Hmm. Yeah, I think we get so caught up in like what we don't know. Like when we get questions wrong, we're like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that one either.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, when it comes to the NCLEX, like you said, it's really just about can you make a smart, safe decision? It's not so much about memorizing all of this information. I mean, a little bit of it is, there is a little bit of memorizing certain things, but a lot of it's just like, you know, can you be safe? Do you know what the first step is when, you have an issue that arises? And yeah, I mean, it's impossible to remember everything, but we can learn ways to break down situations, which is what you're going to do when you become a nurse. You're going to
Mm-hmm.
learn how to, look at a situation and break down and prioritize and, what are you going to do to keep this patient safe? And that's what the NCLEX is having us do, just in question format.
Exactly. I think it was you and I that were talking about this. I think, but we kind of talked about the hard thing with nursing is we have all this book knowledge, but it's a practical career. It's a science career, and so the
Hmm.
only way to really bridge that is through the NCLEX. I mean, they do the best job they can to try to like do a practical exam.
Hmm.
So yeah, the questions suck and they're annoying and they're terrible, but it's the best way to really do that without like shadowing you on a floor for a week to see if you're going to be safe or not. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I mean, and we talk about this a lot too. We were just talking about this of just having that confidence. I mean, even if you're not confident, just go in and pretend to be confident, and
Hmm.
when the test ends, it's over. You know.
Hmm. And once you're done with the NCLEX, once you pass, you don't have to ever take it again. You can
Exactly.
just like let that information go and focus on your nursing career.
Most of it you
And
can just flush. Exactly.
yeah, now you focus on being a nurse and learning how to, really be a nurse. But yeah, that's a great question that person asked.
Yeah, and I've had actually probably I don't know how many students this week reach out to me and say like they're going to take the exam. What do I need to tell them? Like they're going into the testing center in like an hour, and they're like, "What do I do, John?" I'm like, "You're late." But here's my biggest suggestion: is like after you submit a question, forget about it and never
Hmm.
think about it again. Literally, like I know that's hard for a nursing student because we like want to analyze every question, but once you've selected your answer, move on because what can happen, or what I've seen people do, is they'll take a question and they're not sure about it, and so for the next 10 questions, they're still thinking about it.
Hmm.
And you can't do anything about it. Like submit it once you make your decision, submit it and move on, and just
Hmm.
have go into each question with 100% confidence. And if you hang
Yeah.
on to old questions, that's going to be impossible to do that.
Hmm. And go with your gut. I mean, how many times do you do a question and then you end up changing the answer and then you end up marking it, getting it wrong? Go with your gut, be confident, and then, like you said, move on. And I can't tell you on the NCLEX, I got to one point, I think I was around question 40, and I was just like, I don't know any of this stuff anymore.
I know.
But I took that as a good sign, like, okay, I don't know this stuff. That probably means I'm in the harder questions.
Yeah, that's a good
And I
thing.
just I just went with it and it's like, okay, well, I don't know chemo drugs. Let's go on
Just
to
do
the
it.
next question.
Exactly. And then even once you and just really quickly to touch on like knowing everything as a nurse in general,
Mhm.
that just can't happen. Like in
Mhm.
neuro ICU, like you can get your CCRN, you can get your certified stroke, you can get your certified neuro, you can get your certified. So there's so much that like you can get specially even certified in, and even getting those special certifications, they don't. I mean, it means you've worked hard to get that, but you still don't know everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so just absolutely never. I mean, I have ICU books that are 3 times as thick as any NCLEX prep book, and so that's getting more specialized. I have neuro books that are as big as any NCLEX prep book, and so I guess what I'm saying is like there's so much out there to know. So get through this NCLEX and realize you're just not going to know everything, but just don't ever stop being hungry to learn, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah.